Do y'all understand just how special Kyle Field might be for the return of the Aggies? They left 6-0 in a great place, very hopeful, a lot on the line. That Florida game, the Mississippi State game, a couple of uniform games, a couple of field design games, really good atmospheres. But they return 9-0 as true college football championship contenders. We welcome them back. 11 a.m. Kyle Field versus South Carolina. Big one in the SEC for South Carolina, a chance to find some sort of positive vibes in a season that has not gone according to plan. They just fired the OC. They're coming off of a bye week. But for A&M, man, chance, chills, cinema, championship caliber team. It's going to be a lot of fun. We can't wait to welcome them back. And there's this worry, right? When you're coming home after a 3-game road stand that they took care of business on, a bye week was in there. It's been like 5 calendar weeks by the time this game happens that they've been in Kyle Field. It'll be in the morning. I think there's a path for a letdown there. I, in no way, shape, or form, see that from these Aggies. There's a revenge factor here, guys. South Carolina's the team that you followed up that LSU win last year at home, the blackout, the Marcel Reed breakout party. They came and smacked you in the mouth. Couldn't tackle them. Couldn't tackle Rocket Sanders. Couldn't tackle the tight end. Couldn't tackle good old Lenoris Sellers. I think they remember that. For the most part, this is the exact same team minus a couple of defensive linemen plus a couple of really good wide receivers. There's a big-time personal revenge factor going on here. And I can't wait to watch it. And I think these Aggies smell blood. Guys, thanks for being here. This is the pregame show for South Carolina, Texas A&M. One of the last SEC games of the year, the last SEC game at home. I appreciate you guys being here. We're going to talk about matchups, keys to the game, all that stuff. And at the end, I'll give you my score prediction. So if you guys could like and sub, that helped me a lot. This game opened as with A&M as a 17-point favorite. That is a huge SEC conference game spread versus a team that's not like Kentucky or even Kentucky, man. That'd be a big spread. I think this is more along the lines of the Mississippi State closing spread. I think Mississippi State opened at 14 around there, and it closed around this number. This one opens at that huge 3-score margin. And honestly, I'm thinking about my score right now. I'll spit it out at the end of this video. I think I'm going to take A&M to cover. Let me talk about this, and we'll see where we end up, man. I feel really good about these Aggies. And South Carolina obviously has some tools, man. They have one of the best defensive ends in the country in Dylan Stewart. They have a pretty good pass rush. They have a good back seven led by DQ Smith. Really good players. They're ball hawks. If you float the ball up, they will intercept it. They are built from the outside in. They're very soft in run defense. This has been their biggest problem all year. Teams with a running game tend to have good days against this defense. And that's what I look for A&M to exploit in this game. A&M is the kind of offense that can score in a lot of ways. Versus Missouri, pretty much the opposite. Really strong team in the front seven was Missouri. A little bit more vulnerable, but not terrible in the back seven. A&M went sideline to sideline early in the game, screens, get the receivers involved in the short game, and they played ball the way they felt like they needed to play ball to be productive. So in this game against this defense, I would wager A&M comes out with a heavy dose of run. I would wager there's a lot of power and zone and a lot of Reuben Owens and a lot of Jamarian Morrow. As the game wears on, you'll see a lot of E.J. Smith, and this might even be a game where you see a good amount of Marcel Reed. I mean, you'll see end-around plays, you'll see short stuff to get the receivers involved because these are guys that just need touches. But why would you take a game to where a defense feels like they can be productive? You look at South Carolina versus Alabama. They kept that game really close because Alabama plays in a way that kind of plays into South Carolina's defense's hands with that pass rush and with their quality defensive back unit. A&M doesn't have to do that. So I see A&M kind of milking this game on the ground, play action, passing selectively, and maybe they get them creeping up, and in the second half, we'll see whatever adjustments come because we know that this team really lights up in the second half. But early on, look for the run. Look for this offensive line to wear out a front seven for South Carolina that has not been really good this year. And that's what I see happening in this game. The other side of the ball, Lenoris Sellers is the guy. This is the one you're looking at. This is the guy you're going to want to get revenge on. This is the guy you're going to want to get to the ground. So first and foremost, for A&M's defense, it's all about tackling. It's all about containing the quarterback. Things aren't as they seem with Lenoris Sellers. He can be bottled up, defensive linemen around him, squeezed pocket, players hanging off of him, and he can escape. So I'm looking at these linebackers, these nickel, the safeties, to kind of just trust the process of the plays and don't give up on plays early. because Lenoris will extend plays you do not think are possible to be extended. This is the Lenoris Sellers shutdown show for this defense. That is their task. So I'm looking at these D linemen, these D ends, to do more than just arm tackling, to link onto this guy, grab a leg, give him a hug, get him to the ground, and I need swarms around him. That's the number one key. They also have a deep shot game. Nick Harbor, insane speed and size combo. Y'all know. Y'all have seen him play this year. And there probably should have been more plays to Nick Harbor than that have happened this year. There have been a couple drops. Lenoris has missed him a couple of times. Lenoris has kind of had this tendency to just be inaccurate in surprising scenarios without pressure to open receivers. That has happened this year. You cannot let this be the game where they start connecting, because I'm looking at this game and I'm trying to think of ways that South Carolina makes this a football game. They're explosive in this scenario. They get turnovers in this scenario. They're getting interceptions. They're putting the ball on the ground. They had 2 fumble recoveries against Alabama. And they're getting real quirky on special teams. Fakes, punt returns, all sorts of stuff like that. Blocks, beamer ball. This is one of his trademarks. You cannot let this become a gross, disgusting slog versus South Carolina. You need to play clean, leave no doubt. I'd say even play it conservatively. Let this thing be a slow burn. Get yourself a 2-score lead going into half, and then just let the second half happen. You cannot let this become like a muddy, ugly game. This is exactly what the Cox need and want to salvage some sort of victory late in the year. Now, the one sample you're looking at is that Alabama game. That's the one where it's like, okay, if they can do that to Bama, they can do that to anybody. As I just talked about, I don't think A&M is in a place to kind of play into their favor. They're also on the road. So I don't necessarily look at that game and get frightened and think that South Carolina is a team that can make this a game. They certainly have talent. They certainly could, but I think it's relatively unlikely. Let me give you my keys to the game before I give you my score prediction. And honestly, I'm speaking somewhat flippantly about South Carolina and very positively about A&M. Y'all know I try to be as real as possible. This is truly how I feel about this game. I think A&M leaves, no doubt. Offensively, just establish a run and you win. Establish the run consistently, and the thing will open up as the game goes on. You'll be able to do what you want as the game goes on. I look for A&M to establish a run early. Defensively, 2 keys: contain Lenoris, get him on the ground, stop the deep shots. You want to let them chunk their way down the field? Let it happen, because it will not continue. And especially if you get them in a 3rd and long. We haven't even talked about their offensive line that has been an absolute mess. They fired the O-line coach. You can get after them. You can push them around the running game. I look for this entire D-line to feast this game. But you got to make it happen. Even if that happens, again, Lenoris is the kind of guy to make it still positive for them, even if things aren't going well with that offensive line. And we'll have to look out for adjustments coming off of 2 weeks off with the coaching switch. Things could be a little bit different. I don't think you can overhaul an offense within 2 weeks, but I think you can definitely kind of cater it to what you think works if you're the new OC. So we'll see. I expect deep shots. I expect them trying to be explosive. That's how they win this game. With that, I'll give you my score prediction. I'm going bold with it, guys. I'm going to go A&M 38, South Carolina 13. I think it's a blowout. I think A&M gets to halftime, as I said earlier, with about a 2-score lead, and then they just blow the doors open in this game in the second half. It's what this team does. It's how they've made their money. Second half team, I expect no different coming home to Kyle Field. If you're at this game, I'll be at this game. I'm very happy for you, because I think this is the welcome back. This is the Kyle Field atmosphere. This is the 100% belief in a team that you have never seen before in Kyle Field, like you will see this Saturday. It's going to be special. It's going to be just kind of like this feeling of we've arrived and we're here to actually make noise and do things that matter in this sport, in this game, very late in the season. So no let-ups. Be behind this team. Be the real 12th man and beat the hell out of the Cox. Guys, thanks for being here. It was a quicker pregame video because I think this game is pretty cut and dry against a team that A&M should handle business against. I don't think South Carolina has beaten A&M in their time in the SEC. I expect no different this game. I expect the Aggies to roll. I hope I'm right. I hope A&M can continue to contain the run and take strides in that regard. It wasn't great against Missouri. You will certainly have an opportunity to do that against Faison and Fuller. They have a few, like 3 running backs they can use, but this O-line should be one that this front 7 should be able to handle. Hopefully you get Scooby back, and that'd be really good for this team. Guys, thanks for watching. Like and sub. I'll talk to you guys in the Thursday live show where you have a chance to call in your score If you get it right, you will get a Marcel Reed card from Topps from the moment that they scored to win the game versus Notre Dame. And you'll also make the Hall of Fame over there. I'll see you guys then. Gig 'em.